So I know we haven't been recording lately, but been kind of busy. It's about 10:30, almost 11 o'clock. Putting the hospital bags and stuff inside the car because she over here having contractions and the baby might be coming. We got the snack bag, her clothes, my clothes, and the baby clothes over there. I can really see it, it's kind of dark. I'm excited, but at the same time, I'm nervous as hell. All the stuff in the trunk. All right.
Remind me to get my purse out of my trunk if we do leave.
Okay. You don't want to go to the hospital?
That's where all my stuff is.
All right. So it's about 2 o'clock, or at least about 2:05 on April 10th. And we actually came up here to the hospital because she was still having contractions.
Quickly ones. Let's just take a look at your other side. Sometimes veins on one side are different locations than on the other side, so that needs.
So I wish I would have got some footage from when we was in the room waiting on the baby, but I didn't. So the rest of the footage is gonna be from today, and you know, just little stuff that we about to do with the baby today. All right. It's Wednesday, April 17th, 2000, a week that she been here. Babies do grow fast as hell.
You all done? You gotta change your diaper.
Again.
And we're not scratching our face. Every time I rub coconut oil on her face, it gets better, and then she does that.
Yeah, she stays scratching her face. So we're about to go to Leah's doctor's appointment. So I'm getting everything ready. She bringing the baby out, and I'm just about to bring the car around right now. So that's what we're about to do. What she do? Cause she ain't eating. She's sleeping. She sleeps so peacefully. So everything was good?
Yeah. Basically just a wellness check.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
Alright. My mommy's back there. Baby, I know. So we do want to do a little bit more footage, but she stays asleep. So I don't know if y'all might get more. Y'all might. We'll keep y'all posted. I know what we're gonna do. We gonna basically talk about our experience on what we experienced for at least, you know, our first child, and how she felt and how I felt during the delivery, and you know, leading up to the delivery while we was at the hospital. So we gave birth, well, she gave birth April 10th, which was last Wednesday. So today make my daughter a week old. How we kind of knew that basically the baby was coming is because her mucus plug fell out, and as soon as that fell out, she started getting all these damn cramps. Then like a day later, she started having all these bad cramps, and like early that morning, well, early the next morning, about 2, we ended up going to the hospital, and they told us that her water was ruptured and that they wanted to keep her, so they just went ahead and just broke her whole water in general. But before that, we was at the house. It was about 9 something, and she started getting these bad cramps. So I mean, I kind of already knew something was up, but she didn't want to go to the hospital. So we called my mom's, and my mom, stressed us to go to the hospital. So we thought that, we can wait it out. So we ended up going back to sleep. Then I probably said a few hours later, we ended up getting up, and that's when we ended up at the hospital about 2. Now from here on out, I was just nervous as hell, because I kind of knew that the baby was coming. Like during this whole pregnancy, I said that I was ready, but in all naturality, I wasn't. I was nervous, and I was nervous for her to have the baby. Nervous for her health and the baby's health. That type of nervous. But from here on out, I'm gonna let her, explain some stuff from her point of view and how she was feeling. Because I mean, that's the main person. I was just there, just watching. Basically, she the one that was going through all that.
Way too much. So when we initially got to the hospital, I don't remember feeling like anything. I was just in pain. I don't remember having like any emotion because for one, I thought we were going to get sent home. I didn't think I was in labor. But when we were home, the contractions were 6 minutes apart for about, was it 5 hours?
Yeah.
I want to say 5 hours. So I read not to go to the hospital until they're like 4 or 5.
I think it was either 2 or 3 minutes.
It wasn't 6 though. It was, yeah. So his mom came to our home after work and she thought that we were in labor. I didn't want to go, so we kind of just packed the car up and I told him we'll just wait it out and see if like the contractions came closer. They never did, but I was bleeding more and more, so I was like, around 1:30 I was like, maybe we should go just to make sure everything's okay because of the bleeding. Like the contractions weren't bad at all, they just felt like period cramps, but it was the bleeding that made me want to go. So we got there around 2 and she checked the fluids that were coming out to see if it was amniotic fluid, and it ended up being the amniotic fluid. So basically I was in labor, and she confirmed that my contractions were 6 minutes apart. So that's when we got admitted, and they ended up giving me Pitocin because just to speed things up because it was just going nowhere and the cramps weren't bad at all. What else? So I think I went into labor around 9:30 Tuesday night, April 9th, and then we ended up having her at 3:46 Wednesday afternoon, April 10th. So I think that's 18 hours, I'm not sure, but I was in labor for a while. 12 hours in, I asked for the epidural. I didn't want the epidural, but I was so tired. We only got about an hour and a half of sleep that night, and I had no energy, and I couldn't do it anymore. So I ended up getting the epidural around the 12th hour, and then the rest of the 6 hours, we were just basically waiting. They had me in all different types of positions because she was being very, very, very difficult. She didn't like when I laid on my back. She didn't like when I laid on the right side. She only liked when I was on my left side, which caused all the epidural to basically seek to the left side of my body. So it started wearing off on the right side. So I started feeling the contractions closer and closer to labor. So I was still in pain. And my nurse ended up calling in the lady to give me another dose of whatever, the epidural, I guess, to numb my right side because she only liked me being on my left. Then they ended up putting me on all 4s, which helped. And I was like that for almost 2 hours in the hospital bed. And I started to feel her head push down. And I kept telling them that she was coming out. And they were like, no, you just have to poop. And I was like, no, I feel her head. So they flipped me over and it was her head. It didn't feel like I had to poop. And we kicked everybody out the room, and by that time, it was time to push. So when it was time to push, I just started crying hysterically because I was so scared for her health. And I don't think I was ready to meet her yet. I was just scared. And we ended up pushing I ended up pushing for 45 minutes. And then she called the doctor in and told him that I was ready. And I think about after 2 pushes, she came right out. And he, like, plopped her on my chest. And I lost it. Like, I've never cried so hard in my life. She was so tiny. And I don't know. It's just unexplainable. Then they took her off of me and got her all cleaned up and stuff, and we started doing the chest to chest and breastfeeding and stuff like that. She latched right on very aggressively, and that's a whole nother story. So the labor nurse showed me how to feed her, but I don't think I was paying attention because I was just so overwhelmed with everything that was going on. Like, we had family. Then we had, like, my emotions, and then she was with me, and I was just not with it. I wasn't there at all. I was tired. So she ended up latching wrong, which I didn't know at the time. It didn't hurt at the time, but after feeding her for hours, I started to realize that my nipples hurt really bad. So the lactation nurse came in and basically explained that she was latching wrong, and by that time she was used to latching the way that she was latching. So basically, when I tried to retrain her to latch, she wasn't having it, and me and her we was about to go at it. We was beefing that whole day because she was trying to basically tear my nipple off. I had blisters. They were bleeding, they were cracked, they were raw. It was painful, and I was very emotional because I felt bad. I didn't want to give her formula, and I knew she was hungry, and she was so fussy that day, and I just felt terrible. So by the end of the night, we made the decision to give her a bottle of formula, and then, like, she was... What's wrong, baby? She's so tense. Jeez. She was so happy after the formula. She was full, and she went right to sleep. You think she's hungry?
I don't know. She just ate.
Well, she was hungry. Anyway, we ended up staying 2.5 days. So Friday, April 12th. I think April 12th. Yeah, April 12th. We ended up we got discharged. We were ready to go. I wasn't sleeping at all. I was probably getting like 2 hours of sleep since the delivery. So I was going on day 3 of no sleep, and we were just ready to go home and get comfortable in our own beds and get some rest. So around 5:30-ish p.m., we finally left the hospital, drove home, got situated, and yeah, I think that's it.
Wake up. Wake up. Arielle, you better, open them eyes. You're not going to sleep. Stop playing with me. You just been asleep for like 3 hours. Probably more than that, huh? Because we done cleaned up, done cooked breakfast and everything. She still was asleep.
Is she awake, baby?
She is gone. Well, her eyes rolling back her head.
Butterfly. C. Crab.
She holding on tight too.
Dog. E. Elephant. F. Fish.
Look at the fish, baby.
G. Giraffe.
She like a ventriloquist.
know I wanted to feed her, right?
What?
I wanted to
Well,
feed
then
her.
here. Like, oh, you finna feed the rest of it then. Mommy about to feed you,
I
okay?
was waiting for her to wake up.
My bad. Why you didn't say that? Here. Mommy about to get you, okay?
Ari. She cannot keep her eyes open.
Damn, oh, I gotta wait another week.
Baby girl.
It ain't nothing left in that bottle, baby.
Yes, it is. It's hard being a newborn, huh? It's tough.
Tough. Like, she don't work 12 hours.
Look at the bubbles, baby. You got bubbles coming out your mouth. Are you awake, baby? This is the most she's been awake all day.
Yeah, it is.
Eyes open. Is that a smile?
You been sleep. Ain't that right, boo?
I love you. Hey, baby. Hey, baby.